How's it going, fellow Detroit Red Wings fans? So, last week was the NHL entry draft. Currently, teams are having their development camps. The next big event in the hockey world is free agency. For the Red Wings, this is an interesting offseason. They seem to be a team on the rise, looking to make their first playoff berth in 6 seasons. But have they shown enough yet to reason going all in on a free agent or a couple of free agents? Most likely, knowing Yzerman's philosophy of wanting to build this team through the draft, I can't imagine he'll be bringing in a lot of big names. Nonetheless, we will take a look at players that would make sense to bring in regardless to be competitive or not, players that make sense and would make this team more competitive, and then big ticket free agents that the Red Wings could go after. But before we get into that, I want to give a shout out to Max. We have had tremendous support from you guys and want to thank you for making the Red Wing Nation community a community. So if you want to get a shout out, make sure you subscribe and join the discussion with lots of other great fans of this team and sports. So going back to free agency, let's address the needs. As of right now, you take a look at our roster, the left-hand side on defense preferably needs someone who can anchor that top line with Mo Seider and not handicap him too much. The forward lineup could use more impactful depth players at every position except for center, and in the top 6, the only hole we really need to fix is, ironically, center. In terms of goaltending, the recent acquisition of Ville Husso solidifies the goalie position, with most likely one of Hellberg or Pickard re-signing to be a third-string goaltender. So, let's dive into the free agency market. Just to be clear, we are going to start with low-risk free agents that fill the needs, and then free agents who will fill needs and make the team more competitive. Then, of course, big-ticket free agents that would be somewhat risky, but could really help change things around quickly. So to start, we are going to look to fix that left-hand side on defense. Obviously, there's a chance they re-sign Mark Stahl. He was a big character in the locker room and has plenty of experience to pull from as the young players look to make the playoffs and try to get past the first round. I could see him or Brett Kulak, a pretty underrated defensive defenseman that won't require a big contract to bring him into Detroit. Kulak seems interchangeable with Mark Stahl, just depending on how the team thinks Stahl can perform. The only other free agent that fills needs and is a relatively low-risk signing is Vladimir Nemestikov. He played for the Wings last season before being traded, and he was having a pretty good year. He hasn't re-signed with the Stars and is expected to hit free agency. He did seem to enjoy his time in Detroit and playing there even though we weren't a winning team. While Nemestikov isn't a top-tier talent, he has performed well and could fit into pretty much anywhere in the lineup. So, looking at someone who may be more competitive on the left-hand side, but certainly wouldn't be breaking the bank, I think the best candidate has to be Nikita Zadorov. A huge defenseman that can both be a punishing defender and someone who can put up points as well. He's coming off a contract with Calgary and could very well re-sign with them. Not to mention he could be looking for more of a competitive atmosphere than Detroit can offer right now. But there's no denying that seeing Zadorov and Seider as the top line should make lots of Wings fans happy and lots of opposing lines terrified. Also, I could see the Wings going after Dylan Strome, a restricted free agent that the Blackhawks decided not to qualify, so he will hit free agency at only 25 years old. He certainly fits into the group in Detroit and would give the Wings a mix of Veleno, Strome, and Rasmussen that could make the Wings more dangerous in the faceoff circle this season. Also adding in that low-risk contract for a player that recorded 48 points in 69 games played last season would be a relatively low-risk, high-reward signing. So finally, for our big-ticket free agents, I could see the Wings going after. Number 1 is a big-name, recent Stanley Cup champion, Nazem Kadri. If the Red Wings want to really be competitive next season, Kadri would be able to help out with that. Coming off a season that saw him over a point per game in the regular season and close to a point per game in the playoffs, he could arguably challenge Larkin for the top spot, but at the very least, will make both of our top lines deadly. Kadri will most likely be looking in the $8 to $9 million range on an 8-year contract. This would of course come at a big price, probably more than Yzerman would like to cough up. Nonetheless, it is an option for Yzerman to think about. Another high-profile free agent that makes more sense and fills that same role would be Evgeny Malkin. Longtime center for the Pittsburgh Penguins, he will hit free agency for the first time ever. So why does he fit so well for the Wings? Well, obviously he fulfills the need for a second-line center. He also produces very well, producing around a point per game in the regular season and in the playoffs. But also at 35, he isn't going to be around for much longer. Nor would any playoff team be looking to spend a lot of cap on him. So the Red Wings are in a position where they could offer him 1 to 3 years with a decent salary, make the team competitive right now, and by the time his contract expires, Kasper and or other centers will be ready to take his spot. What do you guys think? Who should the Red Wings sign in free agency? Let us know down below. Red Wing Nation was designed and created to be a community of Red Wings fans that could come together and talk about all things Red Wings. If you like this video, make sure you drop a like. That way we make more content that you like. And lastly, if you like this channel and want to support it, make sure you go over to our Etsy store, get yourself a custom Detroit jersey with your name and number on it. Until next time, lights out in the red light district.